We also wanted to bring up this BMF title, man, because Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz are going to be taking on each other for this BMF title at Madison Square Garden, UFC 244, one of the most impressive cards in quite some time. And we were there at UFC 241 when we tried to sort of hang out with you, and we watched Diaz handle Pettis, a fight that we thought Pettis was going to win. We were very, very impressed with Diaz. So going into this fight, I'm sorry, my voice is breaking up because it's such a badass fight. Who do you have winning here?
I would have Frankie Edgar, Dan Henderson. I mean, those guys, they will be in line for that belt as well.
Yeah.
Masvidal is a super explosive guy. He's got the fast twitch fibers. With that comes that he needs a lot of freaking stamina. And if somebody puts the pressure on somebody, and I know what I'm talking about since I used to be like that. All the guys who are super explosive, well, they need a lot of stamina. And if you have a guy like Diaz coming constantly forward, and he doesn't back down and constantly in his face, and he wires him down, that is, of course, if Masvidal doesn't land one of those crazy flying knees again or one of these crazy punches because he has a lot of power, that could be a long night for Masvidal because, he's going to wear him down. That's what he needs to do. He cannot, in the beginning, I wouldn't start even jabbing against him. He's got a long jab, so keep him far away. But Masvidal is a very explosive guy. He's out of the blue, he bursts and he comes forward. So if he connects, well, there's a lot of power in that, in whatever he's throwing. So if it's the first 3 rounds, how many is going to be a 5-round fight?
It's going to be 5 rounds, yep.
5 rounds, you see. So if it goes into the championship rounds, I see it leaning more towards Diaz. Pretty much every time when a Diaz is fighting, that is the game plan. You see it because you simply break them down, and then slowly but surely they start taking over later in the round. Or Masvidal completely tuned up on stamina, but still, if you fight a fast twitch fiber guy and you're like a Diesel, which the Diaz brothers are, you have to be in their face the whole time. And then hopefully Masvidal in training can find people like that or do a Shark Tank, so to say, 1.5 minutes, 4 guys, 6-minute rounds. And then every time 1.5 minutes, you got a fresh opponent who constantly comes forward. Because it's something you have to learn to deal with. If he is the better striker in the gym and he manhandles everybody, that's a big problem. Because then if somebody suddenly is in his face, like Diaz is going to be, it's going to make you tired much faster because you're simply not used to it. We have this great fighter in our gym, and I wasn't there at the first fight. And I should have thought about this. And this guy is so insanely good. He's an older guy already. Billy Poe is his name. Super explosive. He's 205. He moves like somebody who's 175, 170 pounds. It's insane. And super fast. Pushes everybody backwards. In his first fight, he lost. And how did he lose? Well, by a decision, but the guy was just in his face. And he was never in that position that he'd been pushed backwards in training because he just simply manhandles everybody. You see, but you need to find a person who can mimic what Diaz does and can do it for an entire round. Otherwise, he's got to go to a Shark Tank and do it with 4 opponents who are constantly fresh and are in his face and do that for 5 rounds. Yeah, then he can be ready. But what is the fight going to be again?
It's going to be in New York in just a few weeks, I think.
November 2nd, I believe, stateside. Yeah, over in Madison Square Garden. I kind of want to. I'd love to see you there, Bas. I feel like it's going to be our finally our chance to meet up face to face and in person. So I'm greedy like that.
In 3 weeks. So what is the date on it?
November 2nd. That's the actual event.
Okay. Let me flip to my calendar right away here.
And you've also got Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on the card. You got Gillespie versus Kevin Lee. There's a ton of really exciting fights on there. I think I'm leaving a few outcasts. I think there's
a whole bunch. This is a stacked card.
Well, I'm seeing that I'm the weekend home. So let me see.
You can stay in our Airbnb. Don't worry. Free accommodation for the UFC Hall of Famer.
We're staying in Harlem.
That would be fun, and then we can do a podcast also. And then maybe I should, go over the card and break some fights down or something.
Dude, we would be honored. We would be absolutely honored. But we'll let you sort that out. The winner of this BMF title, right, between Masvidal and Diaz. What do you think it does for him in terms of being the biggest stars in the UFC, and where do you think they would rank amongst guys like, say, Conor McGregor and even Israel Adesanya? Because I think while Conor McGregor is undeniably the biggest star, he's been inactive for quite some time now. And man, this BMF title, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, It is what everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah, the BMF title. I love that title, but I still think it's a bad mother father, right? I'm saying it. So that's in order to be the ultimate bad mother father, you're going to have to win the real title next to it. And if you have both of those, I truly believe that you can claim you are the baddest mother father on the planet. So that's what I'm saying. The titles like this are great, and there could be guys on also who don't have a super Clay Guida, right? That guy always in your face. Tony Ferguson always in the face. Then again, Tony Ferguson might get the real title against Khabib because can Khabib sustain that? Can Khabib stop him before he keeps on pushing? Because everybody right now that faces Tony Ferguson, they just run out of gas within 1.5, 2 rounds because the pressure is just too high. He constantly keeps coming forward. Then again, Khabib is not a stupid guy. He's a very smart guy, and he knows exactly, and his father as well, and all these crazy wrestlers. So they probably do Shark Tanks, what I was just talking about, because he really is going to need it against a guy like Tony.